Hey everyone, it's Sean here, your guide to Warcraft, and as some of you may know, I main a Deathknight. And in Legion, Deathknights are quite powerful, but they're also quite slow. We're actually probably got the reputation for being the least mobile class this expansion and the slowest. So obviously I thought, what can I do to turn that around? And I'm actually using a combination of different gear and using the speed tertiary stat and some legendaries to go as fast as I can as a Deathknight. It is worth noting this is not my main gear. This is a completely sort of offset of gear. This is not what I use to go around the world or, you know, do current raids with. This is strictly speaking sort of an offset bit to run dungeons and that sort of stuff with. So the most obvious part of all my gear here is that on as many pieces as possible I try to get the tertiary speed stat. This is something that can only Titan Forge onto your gear, so it's something that you have to collect over quite a long period of time and just get very lucky with. It's not something you can just go and buy from a vendor. Also, probably the most important part is what legendaries you use. I'm using Agrimar's Stride and Safuz. Now, these are very important because Safuz grants you 10% base movement speed, which is very good, and Agrimar's Stride increases your movement speed by 75% of your highest stat, and as a Frost Deathknight for me that's crit. So you, as well as speed, you want to get pieces of gear with crit. Sometimes I've replaced speed gear with crit gear just because the benefit for my speed is actually just what is better with crit and speed sometimes. And also I'm using the Rune Blade of Baron Rivendare, which gives me another 10% movement speed. As a Frost Deathknight we typically use one-handed, but as I'm only going to be using this set to sort of speedrun old dungeons and that sort of thing, old raids, all I need is Howling Blast, so you don't even need the two one-handed. You can see here, you can just run around and just spam everything as much as possible. Very easy with the scaling. So another very important part, if you want to actually know what your base movement speed is on your character, it's not something that the default UI will tell you. You will need an add-on called Dejar Character Stats. This gives you a load more stats that they kind of remove with this expansion that you can sort of re-add and get some extra ones like base movement speed. I'm currently actually 172. I went up an extra 2% since doing the audio recording against the visual recording, so it's something that you're constantly going to be upgrading, going quicker. I'm not sure how long this will last going past Legion, because with the next stat squishing coming, it's going to sort of push all the stats down. And for example, if you go into time walking with this gear, you lose your speed boost because all your stats are squished down. It doesn't scale very well. So that does make me really curious sort of how this is going to perform in the future, if the stat squish is going to have any major effect, what comes in Battle for Azeroth, what we lose in Battle for Azeroth. Obviously it's too early days to say, but I quite like going fast. I quite like having the sort of the speed gear. And like I said, this does only apply to Frost DKs, but obviously if you're a plate wearer, you know, the legendaries mostly are the same, so, you know, you can convert that over and see what stats you're highest. Maybe for paladins and warriors it might be haste compared to crit, and just see how you go. Obviously different classes all have different legendaries and different abilities and gear that can help you go quicker, but this is one that applies to Frost DKs, so I do hope it helped. Be sure to subscribe for more Warcraft videos, tips, tricks, guides. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you next time.